Yes, y'all! From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership in beautiful Carrollton, Texas, it is DCTF Live, an internet show for you to enjoy. My name is Greg Tepper. I am the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. I am sitting here. Oh, wait, no. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us, whether you are watching us live at TexasFootball.com, which you can every weekday at noon, or you are listening to us on the podcast on your own time, which either way, thanks, and either way, do more. I'm sitting here. Sitting there is Max Thompson.
Hello?
Hi. How are you?
How's it going?
Oh, not bad. Today is Thursday, June 23rd, 2016, episode 157. 157 number of home runs for Nelson Cruz in his illustrious Texas Rangers career. A little bit later, big-time guest. Big fun guest. Krum head coach Gary Robinson will be joining us. A guy who has... he's the only coach Krum has ever had. This is a program that started just a few years ago, and he has already built them into a 4A power, a force to be reckoned with. Going to talk to him about how the heck he did that. So
wearing my Krum colors.
You are wearing your Krum colors.
The beautiful blue of Krum.
Good job.
Yeah.
And in a moment, we're going to get to some over-unders for the college football season for Texas teams as far as win totals is concerned. We are degenerate gamblers, and so I am a degenerate gambler. I won't lump you in on it.
Don't gamble.
I am a degenerate. Why not? Gambling's fun.
Don't do it, kids.
Gambling's a lot of fun.
You'll turn into this guy on camera right now, and you don't want that.
A little bit of an update, because we're getting word. If you would like a copy of the 2016 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and why wouldn't you? This one with Cliff Kingsbury and Pat Mahomes on the main cover and Todd Dodge and Sam Ehlinger on the secondary cover. Magazines are going to start rolling off the press tomorrow, which means they're going to start getting into trucks. If you pre-ordered it, that means they're going to be shipped directly to you. Mm-hmm. If you did not pre-order it, then it's going to go to stores, and it'll take a little bit of time to get to stores. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I would say what we're telling people is they're going to start hitting shelves Monday, but I would also tell you that we that it may be Tuesday or even Wednesday before you get yours, before it gets to the store near you, just because Texas is a big state and trucks can only go so fast, and those truck drivers need to sleep and stuff. So that's.
Want to guarantee you get it super fast?
Yeah, actually.
Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. Then we'll just send it to you straight from the printer. The best way to do it, honestly, and I hate to keep banging this drum, but the best way to do it is get online, go to TexasFootball.com, and order it there, because then we can just mail it to you, and you don't have to run around asking where it is. That's honestly the best way to do it. So TexasFootball.com is the place to be for that. I had a really interesting point to make, and I can't think of it.
Was it about mac and Cheetos?
Well, there is that.
I guess we could say that tomorrow. For Off-Topic Friday.
We've just deserved to be destroyed. It's so bad. It's so bad what we're doing to ourselves, America. We got to make America normal again.
I'm sorry.
So, no, there was something I was going to say, and I can't remember what it was.
Okay.
Oh, I'm really good at that. I did stay up last night for no particular reason and watch almost all of the Dodgers and Nationals game. Did you see how that ended? I went to bed in the middle of the ninth. I was like,
I watched the first inning, and then I turned it off.
So Michael Taylor, the center fielder for the Washington Nationals, had a no-good, very bad day yesterday.
Yeah.
Because
he struck out to lead off the game, correct?
He struck out 5 times.
Oh, wow. So it got worse from where I started.
It's the golden sombrero
plus
the platinum sombrero is 4. What's the 5? 5's got to be like the diamond sombrero. He struck out 5 times.
That's rough.
Yes. Pretty tough. And then in the ninth inning, with a runner on, they're down. You know, the Nationals are about to overcome a 5-strikeout game. They're in the ninth inning. Runner on first. Yasiel Puig hits a single to center. Just this is your routine line drive that lands right at the front of the outfield grass. So it's rolling to Michael Taylor, who's coming and charging it to make sure the guy doesn't run to third.
Yeah.
And it slips underneath his glove.
Bye-bye.
And Yasiel Puig gets a walk-off Little League homer on a 3-base error. That's got to be the worst game anyone's had this year, right?
Right, but the positive is I'm sure it was fun to watch Puig run around the bases like a madman.
And if you go on MLB.com, you can see the replay with Vin Scully calling it, and it's really great. And the wild horse just kept on running. Mm-hmm. There was also a Supreme Court decision today about Texas versus it was a girl who was suing about affirmative action. She felt like she was left out of the University of Texas. I didn't understand what I understood it, but I didn't know what her credentials were, and I saw it. So she made like an 1120 on the SAT,
right?
Which is good, but nothing. It's nothing special.
Whatever.
Were you a good standardized tester?
Yeah, but it's different because in Missouri you only have to take the ACT. You don't have to take the SAT.
I took the ACT.
Yeah. So yes, tests never bothered me. I just didn't do any work in school. So
because here's where I'm here. It's really amazing. My wife is unquestionably smarter than I am. Mm-hmm. Like this is not up. You've met my wife. This is not up for debate. This is not a real question.
She is very smart. It's not saying much that she's smarter
Correct.
than you, but
Correct.
she is very.
She is
smart.
a smart
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Horrifying at standardized tests.
Yeah, she seems like the kind of thing that would get in her head.
She's really bad at them.
Yeah.
Really bad. Yeah. Me? You guys should be familiar with my intelligence level.
Right.
Not very good.
But it doesn't bug you.
I am the best test taker.
Right.
Like, I would say pound for pound as far as brain matter is concerned, I am the best test taker in the world.
Yeah.
I killed the SAT. I killed the ACT. I'm just very good at it.
Yeah.
And it's just that's why I think standardized tests are so dumb that it's like, all right, I'm a dummy and I can do good on it. Why are we basing anything off of that? So anyway, that got me thinking this morning. That's what I was thinking of.
All right.
You don't seem very into the show.
Well, I was really excited about whatever it is you forgot to talk about.
That's what it was. And then you were let down.
Once you forgot.
That's what I wanted to talk about. That's what I wanted to talk about was the standardized test.
Okay.
We're DCTF Live. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and we have a website. So a couple days ago, our good friend Brett Vito over the Denton Record Chronicle.
Yes.
Because, as he told me on Twitter, it's June and I'm hurting for content.
Yeah.
He ran through and he was talking about the Vegas over-unders. Vegas, of course, sets over-unders for win totals for every college football team. Mm-hmm. If you're unfamiliar with how over-unders work, if you're unfamiliar with how over-unders work, basically Vegas will, the odds makers will set a number and they will say, okay, you can bet. Do you think that they are going to be better than, or worse than that number? Meaning, if Tepper High School they have an over/under set at 4.5 wins. Do you think they're going to win more than 4.5 games or less than 4.5 games?
Always less, by the way.
Always less with Tepper High School. Yeah. So they set all of them, all 12 of the FBS teams in Texas, and so we figured we would run through them. And Max, we'll play a little over/under. You ready?
All right.
You want to do this? All right.
I'm ready.
We will start with the Baylor Bears. And
this is going to be the most surprising one, right?
So the Baylor Bears come in at 9.5, meaning that you got to pick whether or not they're going to win more than 9.5 games or less than 9.5 games.
And you and I both agree on this one. Boy.
First and foremost, I wonder if this has not been adjusted. Yeah. Because ever since the Art Briles thing, I think this did come out before Art Briles was fired.
And you were saying this is like the last thing that Vegas is letting anyone bet on Baylor related, right?
They're pulling a lot of things off the board. But 9.5 for Baylor. I'll tell you that I would have been very tempted to take the under before May 26th.
Yeah, I think that's a fair thing, yeah.
Because basically you're saying, is Baylor going to go win 10 games? Mm-hmm. And the schedule that they're rolling through, with Oklahoma State, with Tech, who we think is going to be better, with TCU, of course, always dicey. They have to go to Texas. Yeah. I didn't think it was a guarantee they were going to win 10 games with Art Briles.
Right.
Without him, I'm definitely taking the under on 9.5 for Baylor. Do you have a pick?
Oh, under. God,
Under.
it's
Okay.
not even.
All right, I just
yeah,
wanted to
no,
make sure.
it's not even close.
All right.
Yeah.
Houston, the Houston Cougars, 9.5. First of all, appreciate Vegas showing them a little bit of love.
Yeah.
Good job. The
Yeah.
secret's out.
Yeah.
Now, this is interesting. So basically, they have to. They're saying, are they going to win 10 games? Is the question. Boy, that's a really good line on it.
This is a tough one.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
I think I'm going to go over.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because here's where my head's at on that. Let's say they lose to Oklahoma, which I don't think is going out there on a limb. Let's say they lose the opener to Oklahoma. You're then saying, are they going to lose 2 conference games?
Right.
Assuming they don't lose any other non-conference games.
Yeah.
Are they going to lose 2 conference games? I don't
so.
think they are. So I'm taking the over. It may be close. They may win exactly 10.
Yeah.
But I'm taking the over.
Yeah,
on,
I think
on
the
that.
conference was tougher last year.
Yes, I think so. So that's where we go with Houston. North Texas. The over/under is 2.
This is the worst in the state, correct?
Correct.
Lowest.
The lowest in the state. I'll tell you, this is a tough one.
Yeah.
I'm a state of Texas homer, so I will take the over.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think they can scratch out 3 wins.
I don't think they were as bad last year as SMU was the year before.
I think that's right.
So I think they have less ground to make up.
I think so. I also think they're in a more favorable conference than SMU was. So I'm going to take over for North Texas on 2 wins. Rice comes in at 6. I'm going to take over.
Is this not like every year? 6, right?
For Rice.
Like,
and it's
like there are a couple teams on here. The over/under set is like set in stone every year. 6 for Rice.
But what's funny is that with Rice, and we talked about this on the show before, Rice is probably, to me, before the Baylor thing blew up, Rice is maybe the biggest mystery in the state. Like, I think they could be pretty good. Like, there's like at 6 wins, there's a fair chance they could win 9. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's also a pretty fair chance that they could go like 4-8. I mean, it's such a wide swath.
It's a very mysterious team.
I'm gonna take an over. Why is my phone ringing? If you're calling me right now, I can't answer.
This is
the phone.
bad timing.
Yes, very bad timing. I'm gonna take over on Rice at 6 wins.
Okay.
SMU 3.5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the over.
I'm taking the over too.
I'm taking the over. I got him at about.
At this point, are you worried that you're being too positive?
Yes, I do.
Me too.
I really do. I'm gonna take the over. I feel like I'm being a state of Texas homer.
Yeah.
Because
same.
here's the other thing. TCU 8 wins. I'm gonna take the over.
I'm gonna take the over too.
I'm going to take the over on TCU at 8. I would, now I will tell you I would probably, if we were actually betting with money, I'd probably stay away from a couple of these.
Oh, for sure.
I'd stay away from Houston 9.5.
Yeah.
I'd stay away from North Texas.
Yeah.
I'd probably stay away from Rice and SMU. Yeah. I feel comfortable with TCU over 8.
I think so too.
I'm pretty comfortable.
I think so too.
Texas.
Yeah.
6.5. That's a perfect line.
It is a perfect line.
Because I think they are going to be somewhere between 5 and 7. Yeah. Somewhere.
5 and 7 wins.
I'm going to. That's tough. It's another one I'd stay away from. But if I had to pick, I think I'd go over.
I know. Like I said.
I know. I'm being way too positive.
Yeah.
Texas State. Or I'm sorry, Texas A&M. Texas A&M. 6. Boy, Vegas is not optimistic about the Aggies. Now, part of that is that they play in a very tough conference. But,
but you know what? We've gone through this schedule with the Aggies, and I think we've come to the same conclusion. You feel like you should be down on them because of everything that's happened, but when you walk through the schedule, 7 wins seems very doable.
I think so. I think 7 wins is very doable. So if I had to pick here, I would say over for A&M. So I've gone over on everybody except Baylor.
Yeah.
Texas State 3.
Push.
Exactly. I think it's right at 3.
I think it is too.
I think it's right at 3. I'm just gonna say push.
Yeah.
Texas Tech 7.
Oh God, these lines.
I'm gonna go over.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over. I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be better than they were last year, and they won 7 games last year, right? Yeah. So that's easy. I'm gonna go over 7 for Tech.
Yeah.
UTEP 5. Yeah. I'm gonna go over. I think they're making a bowl.
This is God.
I know we're such homers, right? I feel like such homers, but at the same time, I don't know. It's hard to separate my feelings from it, but I think UTEP's better than 5 wins. I think they're going bowling this year.
Yeah. Well, so we're right now we're at 1 team with the under.
1 team with the under and 1 team with the push.
Yeah. And the under was a 9.5.
Now, UTSA. UTSA set at 4. I am taking the under on that. I would take
Really?
take under. Yeah, I'd take under on that. I think
I'd
think
say
a new
push
coach.
her over again.
I think a new coach. I think a lot of question marks.
That's fair.
I would take the under on UTSA at 4.
Okay.
So, to recap, we are horrifying state of Texas homers. just the worst. So that's the over-unders. What do you think? Let us know. Hashtag DCTF Live. We are DCTF Live. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF. You can like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. You can follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. So, that's your degenerate gambling moment. We are going to now switch gears over to a little bit of high school football. I think with Brock winning the state title last year, it kind of made people realize, hey, here are these new programs that are making noise. Brock is obviously the biggest example there, winning the 3A Division 2, 3A Division 1, 3A Division... Which 3A title did they win? Brock. D1? D1, okay. 3A Division 1. So there's new programs sprouting up all over the state. One of them is Krum, another team that has made huge strides early in their existence. And here to talk about his Bobcats, the only coach in Krum history, it is Coach Gary Robinson. Coach Robinson, how are you?
Hey, Greg, Max, how you guys doing? Thanks for having me today.
Hey, absolutely. Wanted to, we've been meaning to catch up with you for a while to talk about your squad. I guess first and foremost, you came on at Krum. You helped to start the program there with the Bobcats. Was there a plan from the start about we want to be at X place X number of years into the program?
Yes, sir. We started the program here in 2008, and we started it with 7th and 8th graders, in fact. And our plan was to add a grade each year, and we started with 3 coaches, including me, that first year in 2008 with middle school kids. And as we added a grade each year, we hired 2 new coaches in. And, we first got we went on with the plan, and in 2012 we had our first varsity UIL season, and ended up with the staff of 12. And that season, we were planning really for it was before 6A came along. We were planning for a 2A classification, and we missed the cutoff by 10 students and ended up going 3A. But really, it kind of turned out to be a blessing because that first season we were 9-0 going into the last game of the season against Gainesville for the district championship. Ended up getting beat on the last play of the game with 4 seconds left. But at 9-2 that year and got beat by Salina in the first round. So. We knew then that we might have something special here in Krum. We figured out real quick that our kids play with a lot of pride. There's a lot of pride in Krum and a lot of support. And so we felt like we had built a solid foundation and, feel like we can make this thing happen.
So it's safe to say.
Blessing.
Yeah, exactly. It's safe to say then that that this program's achieved or overachieved even your expectations thus far?
Yes, sir. Especially in that 2012 season, going 3A right off the bat, whenever we thought we were going to be 2A and doing what the boys did that year. Absolutely, we felt like we've exceeded expectations. But at this point in the program and with our players accomplished this year, we feel like. We exceeded earlier expectations, but now it is expected. Our kids expect to win, and we expect to win 2 or 3 playoffs every year at this point.
Is that difficult? Is that difficult to instill in these kids who have never, I think it's easy if you're the coach out at Odessa Permian, right? Where
right.
You just go and you point to the wall and you go, be like them. Is it a difficult process to instill kind of the expectations and instill kind of the the history when you don't really have any?
I didn't know what to expect coming into it in 2008, and I didn't know if it would be difficult or not. But there's a lot of winning tradition in Krum, and it starts way back in the late 60s and the early 70s. They won their first state championship in basketball in 1971. And they've won 5 state championships in basketball. We've won some state championships in cross country. And, there's winning tradition here. The community of Krum knows how to win. There's a lot of pride. There's a lot of support for the young people in Krum. And, I think that just transfers over, and it transferred over to football. It's transferred over to volleyball, which is another new sport in Krum, into all of our sports. And so that winning tradition is something that we can lean on no matter what sport started it, back in 1971 when we won that first state championship in basketball or whatever it is. So really hasn't been as difficult as I thought it would be, simply because the community of Krum has a lot of winning tradition way before football was here.
Last year, you guys made a drive into the state quarterfinals, the regional final, falling once again to Salina. I am two questions. One, what was the moment last year where you felt like this thing could have something really special and make a deep playoff run? And secondly, I imagine you're not sending any Christmas cards to Salina?
Right. We're happy that they're out of our district and we've landed in Region 1. And they're in Region 2, so if we get an opportunity to play them again, it probably won't be to the state semifinals, and hopefully we'll be fortunate enough to make it that far and get another chance to play them. But I think that going back to your question, I felt like really we had some ups and downs during the regular season. Our record, we did enough to get in the playoffs, but I felt like when we beat Godley, we played really well against Godley in the first round, but whenever we played Iowa Park. Iowa Park, they looked good in warm-up and looked athletic. And whenever we beat those guys, I knew we had something special, even though the next week was Sweetwater, and that was the last game for us to win of the season. But I knew when we beat Iowa Park that we had a special football team.
We're talking with Gary Robinson, the head coach of the Krum Bobcats, here on DCTF Live. Get involved in the conversation at #DCTF Live. Coach, you got one heck of a player and a guy who four-year starters have been extremely rare at Krum, just based on math. But you got a guy in Brandon Reeves, who is a playmaker all over the field. I imagine that's pretty nice on the sideline. Just say, hey, give the ball to Brandon Reeves.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought Brandon up. He's was the utility player of the year in our district. And that he is. I mean, we can put him at quarterback, running back, receiver. If we needed him on defense, he would be great at free safety, cornerback, whatever we needed him. And so he's all around best football player, and he's been a blessing for us. His big brother played on that 2012 season for us and was our starting center, and he was an all-district center for us, and also plays college baseball now. And I feel like Brandon's going to have a great senior year, and he's going to go off and play some college football for us. But that family's been good to us, and it's just a good athletic family and great supporters. But Brandon is one great football player for us.
And you guys are going to bring back 6 starters on defense, perhaps none more important than your linebacker, Colton Spradley, a guy who was all over the field for you guys. For a young program, for any program, senior leadership is especially important. I imagine Spradley is as important to a defense as you're going to find in your classification.
Yeah, Colton, whenever he was a sophomore, he was I think it was second team All-State for us, and then last year as a junior, he was All-Area and had about 140 tackles. But most importantly, what Colton brings to the table is great leadership. He'll be a third-year starter, and but the leadership, he's the quarterback of the defense. The kids respond to him very well, and he does a great job leading that defense up. We've got a senior linebacking crew, and Ryan Gibson, who is also a great linebacker for us, and Boston Castillo will be back playing for us next year as a senior. So our front 8, 7 or 8 kids, in fact, are going to be seniors. So we should be solid up front. We're looking forward to watching that defense play this year.
The other thing that we've gotten to know about Krum is that every year it seems like you have 1 or 2 guys that for every team in the state, there's a couple guys that are on our radar, a couple guys that coaches, tell us, hey, watch out for these guys. They're going to be great. Yeah. But then Krum, it seems like you guys have always had a tendency to have 1 or 2 guys who have come kind of from off the radar, guys that aren't necessarily we're not paying attention to, or youngsters who are just now coming up to varsity. Is there anybody on your squad that you can give us a little bit of inside information, tell us to keep an eye out in the future?
I think if you look at our running back, Hayden Knight, he had a good season for us last year as a junior. I think this year he's going to have a breakout season at running back. If you look at a kid that's coming up from the JV, he's going to start at cornerback for us, Caleb Schertz. He'll take, we had our seniors, our secondary was seniors last year, and they've all graduated out, so he'll take one of those spots. And I think you're going to see him have a great season as well, Caleb Schertz and Hayden Knight.
UIL realignment, of course, on the minds of everybody around the state, and you guys get drawn into District 3, 4A, Division 2. You mentioned getting away from Salina, but at the same time, on one hand, you have a 5-team district, which you'd say, okay, well, yeah, that's good. You got a higher percentage of making the playoffs. But at the same time, I look up and down your district, and that's a really talented district with a couple squads like Graham and Iowa Park that you know are going to be very dangerous. When you take a look at your district draw, what are your overall impressions?
Yeah, it's a tough district. These last 2 years we've been in a relatively tough district. We had to deal with Salina and such, but this year I don't think we can have a breakdown. Every week we're going to have to go in and mentally prepared and ready to play, because every week it's going to be a tough game. Iowa Park, we faced them in the playoffs this last year and beat them 35-21, but they're going to be out to get us. They're going to be ready to play. We play them at their place, and then of course Graham coming down from 4A D1, they're going to be a little bit bigger than us, and we have to go out there as well. So it's gonna be a tough district, and we're gonna have to play every week. So hopefully we'll be able to get in the playoffs and make another run at it.
We're talking with Gary Robinson, the head coach of the Krum Bobcats, here on DCTF Live. Get involved in the conversation at hashtag DCTF Live. And Coach, I want to take you back into your past. Before you were at Krum, you were at Poteet. Before you were at Poteet, you were at Campbell as an assistant. And I'm just curious if there's any particular stars that stand out. I would say maybe the guys who aren't the star running backs.
There's a guy, Greg Tepper. Greg Tepper, by the way.
I'm thinking maybe a backup offensive lineman.
I think of Campbell, Texas. I think of Greg Tepper. And the speed and the quickness and the elusiveness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because
right?
those backup offensive guards were really something. Yeah, Coach Robinson and I, Max, I don't know if you know this. Coach Robinson and I go way back.
I'm sorry, Coach Robinson.
Yeah.
Right.
He was actually, because you were my, if I remember correctly, you were my older brother's position coach. Is that correct?
Probably so.
Probably.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
we've been.
I think so. I may have had you in class too. I don't know.
God, I hope not.
Yeah.
I really hope not. Okay, so then what were your memories of Greg Tepper, varsity backup offensive lineman?
This will be good.
Just that right there.
Literally the one thing.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, well, he's the backup. Because I remember the
a big heart.
Yeah, that was a big
yes.
Yes, a big heart, and to go along with a
small brain.
Let's say small brain. Let's say a frame he needs to grow into.
Yeah.
Well, I think you've done well for yourself, my friend.
It's funny because now it's really odd because you've got a lot of guys that I played with at Campbell who are on your staff, and so whenever we see you guys at coaching convention, it's like a high school reunion for me.
Oh no.
You bet. Yeah, you've got Alan O, who was my offensive coordinator. He was our starting center. Graduated from Campbell in 2004 and went on to play college football. And then once he graduated from college, I hired him here in 2009. And you've got Eric Sean, who was one of my receivers at Campbell, and he also graduated in 2004. And him and Coach O have been best buddies through the years, and also hired him here in 2009. He went to Austin College and played football. We've got Don Osborne here too. Coach Osborne was our offensive line coach, defensive end coach in Campbell for 10 of the 12 years that I was there. So we've got some Campbell influence here, and which has really helped out. And one thing that's helped with our our success so far is kind of our consistency in our coaching staff. We've brought that Campbell influence over, but we've got a great coaching staff and guys that have been here since the inception of the program. I started with 3 coaches in 2008, and I hired the biggest part of my core in 2009 and 10, and they've been here the entire time, and so we feel like that's helped with our success, is having that consistency to build the program.
Well,
a lot of Campbell guys here.
Well, if you're ever looking for another Campbell guy, I cannot coach, and but if you ever need somebody to write about the team, then
come on, baby, we'll take it any day.
He is Gary Robinson. He is the head coach of the Krum Bobcats. Coach, follow him on Twitter at Coach G. I have this here.
G Robinson.
Coach _G Robinson on Twitter. Coach, appreciate your time and enjoy your off season.
Hey, thanks you guys. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
There he goes. Gary Robinson, the head coach of the Krum Bobcats. Yeah, he was an assistant at Campbell, and I tell folks that I had to work here to get my name in the magazine because I was a very bad offensive lineman. Just horrifying. When people ask me, they'll be like, "Hey, did you play Texas high school football?" I was like, "Yeah, I played." Well, played is a generous term.
Suited up.
They gave me a jersey.
Yeah.
They gave me a jersey. So good to talk to Coach Robinson. He's a good dude and doing big things at Krum. And yeah, Salina has been the thorn in their side. And so the fact that they won't have to see them until a state semifinal is potentially very, very good. And I'll tell you look at Region 1 of that. I mean, Sweetwater's going to be there, but at the same time, they beat Sweetwater last year. Sweetwater's going to be there, and past that, you probably look at either whoever you think. I mean, Monahan's going to be very good, but whoever then wins District 3, either Krum or Graham, you would say, okay, that's probably going to be the team to beat in Region 4, maybe aside from Sweetwater. But a very, very a good story out there at Krum of like Brock hitting the ground running and being a successful program off the bat. That's going to do it for us. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Tomorrow's Off Topic Friday. If you have a question for us, whether it's related to football or not, let us know at #DCTF Live on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Vince Young, please come get your Player of the Year trophy. And we will see you tomorrow on DCTF Live.